This season, Bungie decided to Thanos snap quick draw off of aggressive frame shotguns and replaced it instead with surplus. To get the same snappy feeling as quick draw after this change, you'd have to pocket your abilities to activate higher tiers of the surplus perk, which is a big problem in Destiny, a highly ability-centric game at the moment. Today, we'll be looking for a shotgun which can kill enemies at a great distance and also get that quick draw perk for a super fast draw time. The old Nightfall reward, the Mindbender's Ambition, is currently the only aggressive frame shotgun with access to quick draw. However, it's sunset and it can no longer be obtained, so that's going to be out of the picture for most players. If you do happen to have an old one, I think it's arguably the best shotgun in the game right now, especially after these recent changes. Looking at other archetypes, one specific shotgun stands out, the new Riiswalker, which was recently added to the Iron Banner loot pool. Or, well, there was an attempt to add it. In the first Iron Banner of the new season, the only way to get the shotgun was as a reward from the seasonal Iron Banner quest. Outside of one drop per character, you were just out of luck if you didn't happen to get a good roll. According to Bungie, they should have fixed this issue now, so if you have some tokens available or you play enough, hopefully you can grab a nice one during this next Iron Banner. The Astral Horizon is the Riiswalker's direct competition in the Kinetic slot, and in this video I'll be breaking down for you exactly how these two amazing shotguns compare. My first impression is that both are good contenders with slightly different strengths, and I wanted to help you decide which one's better for you, your playstyle, and your in-game build. This video should help you make the decision on which of these shotguns you should spend your time grinding for a nice roll. The Iron Banner loot pool is dilute and non-deterministic, and the Trials playlist is harsh and full of degenerate playstyles and elite gaming chairs, so to speak. So RNG can be a big factor in your chances for getting something usable.
He's infinite shooting with 1K voices.
I was lucky enough to score both a great roll on an Astral Horizon as well as an almost max range Riiswalker, so I've been able to compare both of the shotguns near their max potential for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, there was definitely some big streamer loot involved in getting these rolls, and I'm crossing my fingers that you'll be able to get a great roll of this new shotgun the next Iron Banner. We'll be covering what to look out for roll-wise in a bit. First things first, let's look at the stats and perks of these two shotguns. I won't bore you with random stats that don't mean anything here, we're only interested in what's most important. What you should know is that the Astral Horizon is an aggressive frame shotgun, which means that it fires at 55 RPM, and just 9 of the 12 pellets are enough to kill a Guardian provided you're not experiencing any damage drop-off from being too far away. After a kill, the aggressive shotgun archetype slightly increases the rate of fire, which can help you secure some multi-kills when a lot of enemies are nearby. These aggressive shotguns typically have some very poor handling stats and low range stats, so having perks to make up for these shortcomings is essential when you're evaluating a good roll. The Riiswalker is a lightweight frame shotgun, meaning that it fires at 80 RPM and a steep 11 out of 12 pellets are required to kill your opponent. This is even true at point blank range. That's right, there's very little room for error with these types of shotguns if you want to secure a one-hit kill. The lightweight frame also boosts your mobility and inherently has a much tighter pellet spread compared to the aggressive archetypes. They also typically come with significantly higher range and handling stats compared to aggressive shotguns. The perks that these two shotguns can roll with are very different. Astral has had its perk pool changed many times over the last few seasons. Originally it had quick draw, now that's been turned into surplus, and many nice handling perks that it formerly had are also gone now. Threat Detector and Elemental Capacitor were both amazing choices when they were available because they could simulate the feeling of max handling without requiring you to hang on to your abilities like surplus does. Unfortunately though, both Threat Detector and Elemental Capacitor can't roll on the gun anymore, so you're gonna have to find one in your vault for that combo. In its current state, the Astral Horizon only has Surplus and Celerity as handling perks. Thanks to its recent buff, Celerity does now give a nice bump in handling, which combines really well with Surplus. The problem with Celerity is that it rolls in the same slot as Opening Shot, so you're going to have to forfeit some consistency and range to get that handling, and that might not be something that you're willing to give up. Yeah, the Astral can get Pulse Monitor too, but in the current 120 RPM meta, it's so likely that you're going to get deleted when you're red bar health that it's just not really worth going for that perk. Taking a look at the Riiswalker, it gets a lot of great handling perks, including the elusive quick draw. Surplus can also roll on Riiswalker, and I believe it's actually a bit better here than on Astral since Riiswalker has such a higher base handling stat. Another interesting perk choice on the Riiswalker is Firmly Planted, which can give you a decent bump to your handling speed when you're crouched or sliding. Because the Riiswalker has a high handling stat by default, this can get you feeling pretty close to quick draw. According to D2 Gunsmith, the bump you get to handling is roughly 35 and the Riiswalker has a default of 66 handling, so that adds up to over 100. More importantly though, Firmly Planted also boosts your accuracy while you slide or crouch. This means that you're more likely to register those pellets on your opponent. If you find yourself switching weapons mid-slide, or if you can accept the requirement to crouch before switching weapons, Firmly Planted is a pretty interesting choice. Fortunately for the Riiswalker, we don't have to sacrifice a consistency perk to get more handling, and we can choose any perk that we want in the right column. The Riiswalker is the first shotgun in the game to roll with Iron Reach, a perk that grants roughly 20 range at the cost of a big stability penalty. On a shotgun, the lack of stability is hardly ever felt, so Iron Reach here is an absolutely fantastic perk that can push out our one-hit kill distance even a bit further. You can also get Swashbuckler to ramp up your damage after a melee kill or a shotgun kill. This is particularly nice on the Riiswalker since you're bound to either kill your opponent with the shotgun itself or a follow-up melee. Remember that lightweight frame shotguns require you to land 11 out of 12 pellets to get a kill. This means that the damage boost on a lightweight is quite noticeable since it can dramatically reduce that pellet requirement to get a kill, along with slightly extending your range thanks to the extra damage. The last perk that I want to quickly mention is Killing Wind, and while the range extension is certainly nice, we can get our handling buffed up from a left column perk even before a kill, and the extra mobility might not actually help that much unless you have a very low mobility stat, since the Riiswalker is a lightweight frame and already gets that plus 20 mobility stat inherently. The TLDR of what we just said is that the Riiswalker gets much better handling perks than the Astral, but the Astral can get Opening Shot where the Riiswalker only gets Iron Reach. Even though the Riiswalker can get an incredible 96 range, whereas even a perfectly rolled Adept Astral can only get 63 range with Adept Icarus, we still need to check the range performance of the two shotguns because remember, the Riiswalker needs to land a lot more pellets than the Astral Horizon for a kill. Unfortunately, I don't possess a 63 range Astral Horizon, and the best roll I had access to is my friend Prof's absolute max range non-Adept Astral with Full Choke, and I also don't have a 96 range Riiswalker, but my best roll is 93 range, so I think that's close enough to do a fair test. Keep in mind that shotguns are susceptible to random pellet spread, so we can never pinpoint the exact lethal range of a shotgun. You might get lucky and get a super long range kill, or you might get really unlucky and miss a kill even in point blank range. Also important to note, we did these tests without any shotgun targeting mods, which can slightly extend the one-shot kill range by bending pellets towards the target. This can cause you to land a few more hits that are just slightly off target. After spending way too much time in a private match shooting ourselves with shotguns, we came to the following conclusions. Even though the Riiswalker has an absolutely crazy range stat, its one-hit kill potential just doesn't quite hold a candle to the sheer damage output and consistency of the Astral Horizon with Opening Shot. The Astral Horizon killed quite consistently at roughly 8 meters. This is roundabout the highest possible one-hit kill range of any pellet shotgun in the game currently, including the Fellwinter's Lie. The Riiswalker manages to get a one-shot kill at a range just slightly below 7 meters. With Darcy, you can't know the exact range, but it seems somewhere between 6.5 and 7 meters. Honestly, this isn't great news for the Riiswalker. In that small gap between 6.5 and 8 meters, if you're using a Riiswalker, you're going to get mapped by Astral, and you might not be able to do anything about it. Does this mean that Riiswalker is bad? Well, not so fast. While its one-hit kill range might be a bit lacking compared to the aggressive frames, it has just about everything else that you can imagine. So while you might get mapped between 6.5 and 8 meters, if you're outside of that 8 meter range, the Riiswalker will actually be doing close to the exact same amount of damage as the Astral Horizon. Remember that the Riiswalker has a very tight pellet spread and a high range stat? Well, because of this, you're going to be consistently dealing aggressive frame levels of damage with a lightweight shotgun well beyond 8 meters. In fact, all the way out to about 10.5 meters, you'll be able to kill in just 2 shots with the Riiswalker. Unfortunately, around 11 meters, the damage suddenly drops off really hard and becomes close to negligible. Thanks to its high rate of fire, the Riiswalker can actually kill in 2 shots significantly faster than the Astral Horizon. Here are the numbers as far as I could determine while recording at 60 FPS and counting the frames. Without Assault Mag, the Astral Horizon can 2-tap in 1.09 seconds, whereas the Riiswalker can 2-tap significantly faster at around 0.77 seconds. If you add Assault Mag to the picture, the Astral Horizon can 2-tap in 1 second flat, whereas the Riiswalker can 2-tap in 0.66 seconds. This means that the Riiswalker is almost just as good as an aggressive shotgun at getting those cleanups on weaker targets. It's also quite nice that you can quickly take multiple shots at your opponent to chip away their health while you're playing from distance. The downfall is the fact that it needs to land 11 pellets to kill a full health opponent. This is a big problem because in super close quarters play, you're going to often miss more than just one pellet with the crazy movement and latency that happens in Destiny 2 PvP. While testing the shotgun, I found that I often had to clean up a shotgun kill with a melee or an extra shot from my primary because I'd leave people with just a sliver of health in close quarters. However, if your opponent's not quite at full health, the Riiswalker will output a lot of damage consistently, and in a shotgun vs shotgun battle, you can easily shoot the second shot much faster than your opponent using the aggressive frame, so you can go for that 2-shot kill at close to slug shotgun ranges. Also, in a 1v2 or even 1v3 engagement, the faster rate of fire can really help you to get those follow-up kills quickly. Just look at what happened to the enemies in this background footage. This would probably not be possible with an Astral Horizon. So the question remains, is the Riiswalker any good? I think it's a great shotgun, but it requires a particular playstyle to get the most out of it. Overall, it's a nice shotgun and it's a fine addition to your collection. For hunters who can take advantage of the bonus mobility stat from the lightweight frame, it's very strong. You can run 80 mobility on your armor setup while maintaining the movement speed and dodge cooldown of 100 mobility. For Titans, this might be a bit less useful, however the improved movement is also helpful for mobile Warlock players. Usually I would tell you to keep your primary out while you're looking for a duel, and I'd say someone who holds their shotgun out the entire game is just mindlessly aping, but that's not quite the case with Riiswalker. While I do still recommend first engaging your enemy with your primary due to the lower damage output of the shotgun, you can profit off of the mobility boost of the shotgun while you're just rotating around the map. In a way, you can ape without actually aping. If you enjoy something like Stompies or any other movement exotic, the lightweight archetype synergizes fantastically, giving you a massive speed and movement benefit while also allowing you to traverse the map fast and avoid that pocket between 6.5 and 8 meters pretty effectively. Currently, the Astral Horizon requires a heavy investment to get high handling, whether you get that from dexterity mods, abilities, or a handling exotic like the Dragon Shadow or Ophidian Aspects. The Riiswalker, on the other hand, will allow you to use the same mod slots for different purposes, which opens up some build flexibility. With its snappiness and high handling, the Riiswalker allows you to quickly switch even from a low handling primary in the energy slot like a high impact pulse or an aggressive hand cannon. One tip that you might consider to get the most out of the shotgun is to take advantage of that super fast 2-tap kill. If your opponent is at full health and you aren't quite sure if you can get right up to their face to land those 11 pellets, it's often a lot easier to rapidly shoot twice or to weaken your opponent first with your primary weapon before you go for the kill. Keep in mind that the main downside of the Riiswalker is its one-shot kill distance against a full health target, so make sure to account for that when you're attempting to fly in with your shotgun. If you pretty much always run a handling exotic like the Dragon Shadow or Ophidian Aspect, I'd argue that you're probably better off sticking to aggressive frame shotguns for the forgiveness in close quarters. In this case, the Riiswalker's biggest benefit, the high handling, is mostly negated. With the handling exotic, the 2-shot kill time becomes a bit less important since you'll be switching quickly between your primary and your shotgun to get the highest damage output. If you're like me and you enjoy switching up your build every now and then, or particularly if you like running those very expensive charge with light mods, then the Riiswalker is absolutely a fantastic shotgun in the Kinetic slot and definitely worth a try in your loadout. Hopefully you'll be able to snag yourself a good roll in this next Iron Banner. May RNG be on your side. Speaking of Iron Banner, if you're having trouble winning your games, check out my recent video on Game Sense, where I explain how to maximize your chances of winning games in Destiny 2. It might help you to quickly farm those tokens so you can get more chances at the Riiswalker. It's the video in the top right of your screen and also linked in the description.